Hi, welcome to PWP.
Pids, Wilson, Pids.
It is Monday today, and you will be with us Monday, Wednesday, and Friday for this week.
Today, after reading the Google Forms, we wanted to touch on a lesson on theme again. You know, we talked about that after we read Crispin, but theme is it's kind of abstract, so it's a little bit more difficult to grasp. So we wanted to go over that again after reading you guys. Most of you said on the forms that work was just right.
Yeah,
not too much, too little. You know, there were a few of you who said, too much, but not very many at all. It was overwhelmingly just right.
Just right, yeah.
And so we thought, okay, we're going to try to keep that up. Please keep giving us that feedback. We enjoyed that. And most of my kiddos liked the Velt. They said
yes. A lot of them seem to really enjoy it too, especially how kind of dark and unusual it was from the typical story.
Yeah. Well, today we're going to talk about a little acronym. And the acronym today is TEST, or to test out the theme. So when you think about TEST, the T stands for trait, E for events, S for the subject, and then T for tone. And Miss Wilson's going to help us start off with the T in test.
So, traits from the Velt from Miss Wilson.
T is for traits. In the beginning, the parents were too lenient with the children, and then the parents became worried by the children's behavior, and in the end, the parents were foolish for not sticking to the consequences, and they allowed the children back into the nursery.
Got to give a shout out. I hope you had a wonderful birthday, Miss Wilson, yesterday. Happy birthday again today. When all this is over, then we're going to have to go out and celebrate and eat some birthday cake. All right, so E is for events. When you think about the Velt, the main events in the beginning, you have the parents giving the children everything they want. No consequences, okay? They bought that house, wanted to give them a better life. They wanted to be around them more. That's why they purchased the house. In the middle, the mom first begins to worry, but then both of them are worried. I really, in my opinion, think the mom maybe noticed it first because she was feeling unneeded. She voiced about how that, the house was doing everything and that she kind of felt unneeded. So the parents start to notice their behavior and their attitudes. The children's have changed. In the end, too little, too late, cliche. It really was, though. They decided, okay, now we're going to try to discipline, but unfortunately they're foolish and they don't stick to their guns, and they say, go ahead, just a few more minutes in the nursery, and well, that didn't end well for them. Okay, so that was our traits, events, and
now we're going to talk about the subjects. So the subjects of the Velt. So remember, a subject has to be 1 to 2 words.
Like a topic.
So for me, I think indulgence is one. Okay, so if you're indulging in something, you are going over the amount you need, over the amount that is really healthy. It is an indulgence. It is over the top.
With the Reese's peanut butter eggs.
Yes. But also, like, Peter with technology.
Yes.
And also just how both George and Lydia let Peter and Wendy grow up. They overindulged them. They let them get their way. Then, as another subject, we have indulgence. Next is human nature. So it is very clear that not growing up with an actual parent that said yes or no, a parent that taught them to have empathy for others,
right.
Peter and Wendy kind of lose their humanity throughout this. We can see that with Wendy saying, would you like some tea?
Yes, because
they feel no shame or guilt over killing their parents.
The house was raising them.
The house was raising
the parents,
them.
so they didn't have that human interaction. And
it's
so
like they lost their humanity. They had no human nature within them.
Right.
The next one is consequences. We can see here that Lydia and George do pay the ultimate price for not raising their children correctly. They face consequences for their actions. They end up losing their lives because they overindulge their children. So again, the 3 subjects: overindulgence, human nature, and consequences.
Okay. And when you take that, remember we said the acronym was TEST. Traits. So you think about the traits of the main character, the events, beginning, middle, and end of that story, subjects or topics that you feel that the author was trying to relay.
And now we have the T
for
tone.
But both
we
talked about
a
that.
lot of children said that one thing they still kind of get shaken up about is the difference between mood and tone.
Yes. And remember, mood is how we as the reader feel. And I had several students want to know, well, can the tone and the mood be the same? Yes. Yes. The author's tone can be the same as what you as the reader are feeling. When you talk about author's tone, it really stands out and can be different when it's nonfiction. That's when author's tone is really important to notice.
And you can also think tone is in tone of voice. How someone talks to you, their tone, that will change your mood, how you feel.
Yes.
So it's again, the author has the tone, and your emotions, that is the mood.
Think about the Velt. The tone was negative.
Yes.
Okay.
That was actually one of our questions about how does the author feel about technology? What do you think the author thinks about technology? And most students did correctly guess that he thinks that too much of the technology can be harmful to parents and children. So it has a negative tone.
All right, using all of those things, the traits, the events, the subject, and the tone, that helps us think of the theme. You really have to build on all of those. And remember, a theme is not specific to one story or movie. A theme is universal.
So it can't mention specific characters.
No. Or events, specific
events.
But you do have to think of them to be able to develop a theme. And so we both came up with, and Miss Wilson, we all came up with an example of a theme. So we're going to throw some themes out there to you that we felt the author was trying to send that message in the Velt. Remember also, you can have more than one theme. Not everybody's going to have the same answer for theme. It's whether or not you can base your theme, those facts, use those facts that happened in the story to support your thinking.
Theme number 1. Overindulging can cause one to become entitled to the point that one loses their humanity. Theme number 2. Overindulgence can lead to devastating consequences. Theme number 3. Overly indulging your children can lead to horrific consequences. Theme number 4. Parents should have set rules and never overindulge their child.
Okay. And, I kept going back to too much of anything is not good. And that's a cliche. So we kind of thought about that. And a cliche is something that's just overused. You've heard a lot. So we tried to come up with some other theme statements using those subjects that we thought of that went with the Velt. Pretty much on the same thing when I was brainstorming things. Overindulgence of any kind makes us become dependent on things. Too much of anything is not healthy. It's going to create an unhealthy obsession, which leads to downfall. You don't want to become too dependent on anything. So anyway,
It's very dangerous.
those are some examples of theme. And I know a lot of you voiced that the hardest part was coming up with the words, to think of those subjects. It's like what the author's trying to say to you, but to put it in words is difficult. And we did the same thing.
We saw that some people were struggling with theme. We had some people copy and paste themes from other websites. Google Forms flagged that down for us and helped us out. Guys, we always want to hear your opinions, your voice. We don't want to hear other people's. So if you have questions, just ask us and we can figure it out together and walk you through it. but we never just want to steal someone else's work.
And we do understand that maybe you guys look just to give you an idea of how to say it. Just be very careful. Remember, when you take someone else's words as your own, that's plagiarizing. So you never want to do that. Remember that we're here. Call us, email us. We can help you. If you Google that to give you an idea, nothing wrong with that. Absolutely nothing. Just be sure to put it in your own words.
So, what you're doing today. So, you are going to read a short story. And this time when I say short story, it actually is.
This short story is really short.
A short story. The length is very short. So, it is called
The Farmer and the Hummingbird.
Oh, it is a very cute short story, and just like we just showed you how to do with the Velt, figuring out the traits, the events, the subjects, and the tone, you're going to do that with the very short story you're reading.
Yes.
So we just modeled exactly how to do it, and also if you have your English notebook, you have a whole notebook full of great subjects. You can see if it matches up with that story. If you need extra help on theme, Miss Pittsiel found a very good video about theme, and you can watch it to just really make sure you understand the content.
Until Wednesday,
You've been watching PWP.
Pitts Wilson Pitts.